I am ready to fight. Even if I were alone, I would have fought them. Now that I have the people as a shield to protect me, I have a God to protect me. You want me to fear something? No, not at all.
Good evening, viewers. This is Intervlog, bringing you an in-depth look at a nation standing at a crossroads. Tonight, we turn our attention to Cameroon, a country whose calm surface hides a swelling tide of political tension. A week ago, the world listened as opposition leader Issa Tchiroma told the BBC, in measured but unmistakable words, "We will not accept a stolen vote." Those 8 words have shaken the foundations of Cameroon's politics. They sound, to many observers, like the first open confrontation between the country's aging president, Paul Biya, and one of his most outspoken former allies. The official results of the 12th of October election are due any moment. Across Yaoundé, tension sits heavy in the air. Streets are quiet but restless. The ruling party insists President Biya has once again secured victory. Opposition groups say they have tallied their own results from polling stations and that those results point clearly to a different winner, Issa Tchiroma. Cameroon's Constitutional Council, staffed largely with ruling party loyalists, is the only body legally empowered to declare the winner. Its decision, expected on Monday, will define whether the country moves forward in peace or slips deeper into crisis. For 43 years, Paul Biya has been the face of Cameroon's stability, or, as some now argue, its stagnation. At 92, he is Africa's second longest ruling leader. He inherited power from Amadou Ahidjo in 1982 and has survived every challenge since: attempted coups, separatist uprisings, and waves of political reform. But time itself has become an opponent. Generations have been born, grown, and lost faith under his rule. The nation's youth, nearly 60% of the population, are increasingly impatient. They want jobs, fairness, and the freedom to believe that tomorrow can be better than today. In Cameroon's commercial capital, Douala, the internet has gone dark. Connectivity began to fail on Wednesday, just as the argument over results intensified. Businesses, journalists, and civil society groups all report being cut off. Observers say this is more than a technical glitch. It is a political message. In a digital age, silence can be a form of control. C'est comme une lampe éteinte dans une maison pleine de secrets, one resident told a BBC stringer. It's like a lamp switched off in a house full of secrets. The blackout reflects a deeper disconnect. Citizens struggling to see what those in power prefer to keep unseen. At Intervlog, we often say, "Quand le vent change de direction, même les oiseaux changent de trajectoire." When the wind changes direction, even the birds alter their path. In Cameroon, the political wind has shifted. Cheroma's defiance has transformed an election into a test of truth. His supporters see him as the long-awaited voice of change. His critics call him reckless. Yet his words to the BBC have touched a national nerve. A trained engineer and once a government minister, Cheroma has moved between collaboration and opposition throughout his career. This time, though, the break appears final. He claims to have compiled comprehensive results proving his victory. He accuses the ruling party of preparing to manipulate the outcome. The government dismisses his claims as illegal and premature. But every accusation, every denial, tightens the knot of mistrust. Another French parable reminds us, "Quand un arbre reste trop longtemps dans le même trou, il finit par étouffer ses racines." When a tree stays too long in the same hole, it eventually suffocates its roots. Paul Biya's leadership has been that great tree, firm and towering. Yet the soil around it is losing air. Cameroon's democracy, once considered steady, now gasps for renewal. According to Afrobarometer surveys, trust in the presidency fell from 55% in 2023 to 47% in 2024. Trust in the ruling party stands at 27%. Nearly half of Cameroonians live in poverty, and youth unemployment remains high. Such numbers, analysts warn, are not merely statistics. They are the language of frustration. Monday's announcement could be decisive. If the Constitutional Council validates Biya's re-election, Opposition groups may see it as confirmation that ballots no longer matter. If it surprises everyone and calls for a runoff or recount, the ruling elite may view that as betrayal. Either way, the pressure is immense. Regional observers fear demonstrations, perhaps protests, though many Cameroonians still pray for restraint. Intervlog will not speculate on outcomes, but we note what diplomats quietly admit. The risk of unrest is real. Cameroon's politics have long been dominated by strongmen. Ahidjo ruled until 1982, then Biya. Multi-party elections returned in 1992, yet power never truly changed hands. When term limits were abolished in 2008, many said democracy had lost its guardrail. The pattern has held: restricted civic space, periodic protests, and an enduring promise of stability. But that promise is wearing thin. Biya's government has faced multiple internal crises: the Anglophone conflict in the west, Boko Haram attacks in the north, and now a nationwide loss of trust. Cameroon, once called l'Afrique en miniature for its diversity and balance, is becoming a mirror of the continent's struggles. Longevity of power, youthful impatience, and the uncertain line between order and repression. Cheroma's challenge therefore touches something larger than a single election. It asks whether Cameroon can still change peacefully, or whether, like so many others in the region, change will come through confrontation. Security has been tightened in key cities. Reports mention increased checkpoints and a visible military presence. Some demonstrators have already been detained. The government says it is preventing violence. Activists argue it is silencing dissent. Digital rights groups warn that the blackout makes independent verification of events nearly impossible. Cameroon's information space has narrowed to whispers. Viewers, Intervlog does not predict war. We document warning signs. Today, those signs flash across Cameroon: a contested election, restricted communication, and the language of defiance. Quand la corde tire trop fort, elle finit par casser. When the rope is pulled too tight, it eventually snaps. In English, it means that unresolved tension always breaks somewhere. For Cameroon, the challenge is to loosen that rope before it breaks, through dialogue, transparency, and restraint. The Catholic Church and several Protestant councils have appealed for calm, urging both leaders to place the nation above personal ambition. Bishops have reminded citizens that peace is a collective duty. Their statements echo through parishes and mosques alike. Cameroon must not trade stability for revenge. Beyond politics, ordinary Cameroonians speak of fatigue. Market traders in Meroa complain of prices rising as uncertainty deepens. Students in Biya fear exams will again be postponed if unrest spreads. A taxi driver in Douala summed it up to our crew: "We just want the truth. Whoever wins, let it be clean." That sentence captures the country's heartbeat. Not hatred, not ideology, simply the desire for fairness. Across Africa's so-called coup belt, from the Sahel to the Gulf of Guinea, citizens are watching Cameroon closely. If Biya retains power amid allegations of manipulation, it may embolden other long-serving rulers. If protests erupt, it may inspire opposition groups elsewhere. Either outcome affects the region's fragile balance. Intervlog believes that Cameroon's story is Africa's story, the struggle between endurance and evolution. Every election becomes a test of whether ballots can replace bullets, and whether history can bend without breaking. Biya's longevity once symbolized order. Now it symbolizes resistance to renewal. Cheroma's defiance may yet prove reckless or prophetic. Only time and truth will decide. The blackout has slowed trade across borders. Small exporters in the Central African Republic and Chad report delays in payments processed through Cameroonian banks. Port activity at Kribi has dipped. Economists warn that political uncertainty could erode the modest growth achieved last year. For a country already burdened by debt and insecurity, even a few weeks of tension can undo months of progress. La vérité est comme l'eau. Elle trouve toujours son chemin. Truth is like water. It always finds its way. This saying, common in French-speaking Africa, captures Cameroon's dilemma. No blackout can stop questions. No decree can erase doubts. Eventually, truth flows, through cracks, through whispers, through the courage of those who speak. Foreign embassies in Yaoundé are on alert. The United Nations and African Union have both urged restraint. Neighboring states fear that renewed instability could send refugees across their borders. Regional cooperation, already strained by conflicts in the Sahel, would face another test. As Cameroon awaits Monday's announcement, the world watches. It is not simply a matter of who becomes president. It is a question of what kind of nation Cameroon wishes to be after more than 4 decades under one man. Will it choose continuity, at the risk of further stagnation? Or will it risk uncertainty in pursuit of renewal? The answer lies not in the palace, nor in the council chamber, but in the hearts of Cameroonians themselves. In the final hours before the results, calls for peace echo across the country. Musicians post messages urging calm. Community leaders organize prayers. Teachers remind their pupils that patriotism means patience. Cameroon's story is not yet written, but its people still hold the pen. Here on Intervlog, we will continue to follow this story with the objectivity and depth our viewers expect. From Yaoundé to Douala, from the far north to the Anglophone regions, every voice deserves to be heard. To our Cameroonian audience, stay informed, stay calm, and remember, la paix n'est pas la faiblesse, c'est la force de ceux qui espèrent. Peace is not weakness, it is the strength of those who still hope. This is Intervlog reporting on Cameroon, a nation on the edge of decision. Good night. This is the end of our program today. See you on Intervlog same time tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get new video updates. Thank you for watching Intervlog. Thank you.